one more session for you before the open mic, okay? And I just want to make sure all is okay. Yes. So I met Nicola through my community, the Courageous Leaders Club. If you're not a member of that, please join. It's free. I was immediately inspired by Nicola because of our shared corporate type backgrounds in learning and development, and the incredible stuff that she was managing to do on the side of a full-time blimmin' job. So I will let her tell you a little bit more about that. But without further ado, please put your hands together for the incredible Nicola Arnold.
Thank you. I just want to check that everyone has a promise note and a big A4 sheet before we start. Okay. There you go. Okay, everyone good? Okay, so thank you very much. Helen, you asked people this morning if they had a penny. Does anyone have a £20 note? No? Okay, well, probably just as well that I've got one here. And if I showed it to you now, you all know how much that piece of paper is worth. It's right. It's £20, right? If I offered this to you now, how many of you would want it? Virtual, we could send it to you. But there's a few people at the back of the room. You'd want it. Why would you want this?
Because I can spend it and buy something else.
Fabulous. Okay, so you know that you've got £20 to spend. But what if I crunched it up? Would you still want it then? Yeah. Why would you want it? Because it's still worth £20. What if I stomped on it with my amazing butterfly heels on? Would you still want it then? Yeah. And if I drew on it and I put it in water? Because it's still going to be worth £20. But how many of us don't do that for ourselves? How many of us devalue ourselves when something goes wrong? How many of us, the minute something doesn't turn out the way we want it to, we tell ourselves we're not enough? So I just thought I'd start with that. So, this is me. It's quite a good headline with the big song that's out there at the moment. But I just want to say that the best way to create your future is to make it. So I couldn't start my talk without mentioning this little lady who has been such an incredible inspiration. I'm incredibly blessed that in the last year I have been able to attend both her courses over here in the UK because there's someone over here that's trained to run her work, which is absolutely incredible. The gifts of imperfection changed my life. And so I share with you this quote. And I offer all of you today to think about the place that you sit in right now. You've all heard some incredible, inspiring people today. And I want to invite you as part of this experiential session to really think about where you are right now and the narrative that you have in your head and what you want to do after today. So let me share my breakthrough with you. This is me. Can you all see me? No. Oh no, that's because I didn't exist. See, the problem was I used to hide in black all the time. I used to hide right in a corner. I wouldn't say anything, and if I did say something, I'd say what other people I thought wanted me to say, or I'd do what other people wanted me to do. I didn't have any self-worth. I spent my life with a disease that I carried around for years, which manifested in self-doubt. I was completely consumed by comparison. I expect we're all on Facebook. Every 60 seconds on Facebook, over 500,000 comments are posted and over 300,000 statuses are updated, all with this one-dimensional world that tell us we're all absolutely amazing, we're buying our second castle and the yacht will be delivered on Friday. Yeah, and I probably read most of those statuses because I was so consumed in comparison. This is where I stood. I didn't feel I was good enough. I didn't feel I was good enough to go out there and launch my business and actually do something I really wanted to do with my life. I was comparing myself to everybody else that was out there and was trying to do everything on top of a full-time job. Oh, I'm running a brownie pack and doing dog agility at the same time. With a dog, obviously not me doing the agility. So this was me. I hit the vulnerability wall. I suddenly recognised that it was okay to be vulnerable. It was okay to be real about my feelings. It was okay to connect with them. And it was okay to cry. And I realised that the time is now. This is in Guildford Town Centre, near where I am. And I recognise that my time is now. Like we said, we can't always be focusing about the future. We have to connect with where we are right now. And that is what changed my life. Someone said to me, if you could say anything to the universe right now, what would you say? And it was that I am enough and I matter. But when I started my business, here's me and Marley, and I thought there was going to be this stampede of people wanting to come and be coached by me, right? We all sit there by the window and the door waiting for those emails and those Facebook notifications to come in because obviously everyone knew who I was, or did they? Because I hadn't really put myself out there. So how many of you are sitting here today or watching, thinking, well, why aren't people coming to me? Why aren't I getting anywhere? Because actually, are you putting yourself out there? Are you telling people what you're doing? Are you making yourself visible? So here's me. I've spread my wings now. So tempted to bring a set of wings today. Okay, but I've spread my wings, I've got out there, and I'm making my mark. And that's really important. Standing here in a brightly coloured top is a big thing. But I've changed. I want to be seen. I want to be visible. I want to make a difference. And here is me. 2 years ago, I had this incredible dream that I wanted to launch a workshop that would help people come and recognise their self-worth. And it's only in September last year that I finally launched it. And this is me with my second online cohort. So I've now done 4 cohorts. I've taken 29 people through the programme. This was such a massive thing for me. Thank you. So I want to say, live your life with choice. It's a big word that we've heard a lot today, but it's so important. I go out there, I do my thing, I live in the moment. I notice those sounds that I hear, I feel the energy, I feel the emotion, I notice where I am. It's so important that we take a moment to notice where we are. So, focus your energy on you, especially today. I feel like there is so much energy in this room right now that we all need to unleash. And so over the next 20 minutes or so, that's what I'm hoping to unleash. No pressure, but I'm hoping to unleash in you all. So this is the big phrase that you need to remember. How many of you stop yourself from really doing what you want to do? How many of you are really holding back because of that inner narrative that you have got at the moment? We've talked a lot about language today and the language that we use for ourselves. Do you talk to someone, do you talk to yourself like someone you love? Or do you tell yourself you're not enough, that you're not good enough to the person sat next to you or the person that you see online? So we need to challenge that, and that's what the exercise I want to take you through now. Because this is the little guy that used to sit on my right shoulder. I talk a lot about gremlins, the inner voices that we have. Pesky little things, and it used to sit there and its voice was so loud. And so I want to take you through an exercise now that will help you get rid of that. Because if you don't get rid of it, you get an entire flipping committee of them. And they really get quite annoying. So, I want to introduce you to something called head and heart, which sits in front of you now. What I want you to do now is I really want you to channel how you're feeling today. So what I'd like you to do is I'd just like you to take your hands for a moment. I'm going to count to 3, and when I count to 3, I would like you to clap your hands 3 times with me and then just look at your hands. I have not lost the plot, I promise this is going to work. So 1, 2, 3. So just want you to look at your hands now. And I just really want you to focus on your hands. Let all of the thoughts that you have inside of your head go and just look at your hands. You might notice tingling in your little left-hand finger or your thumb on your right hand start to wiggle. But right now, you are truly in the moment. I want you to notice the energy that you have today. And perhaps the limiting beliefs that you have right now that are holding you back from leaving this room today and really doing what you need to do next and being what you need to be next. So with that in mind, I'd like you to take a pen, and in the top left-hand quadrant, I want you to take those gremlin phrases and I want you to write them down so that you can see them in front of you right now. And when you've done that, turn to the right-hand quadrant on the top of your page and think about all the phrases that you think other people might be saying about you. Who are your external critics? They're most probably made up. But what are the phrases, again, that you're hearing inside your head that are limiting you? When you've done that, I just want you to take a few minutes on your tables now to just feel free to support each other and share. Because the one big thing that you need to recognise about what's in front of you right now are these are thoughts, not facts. These aren't real. These are the gremlins that are stopping you. They're your own beliefs that we need to quash today. So take a few moments now and just talk through, because hopefully what you're going to recognise is that you're not alone with those thoughts, that perhaps a lot of you will have shared ones. So take a few moments now to chat that through. I'm just going to bring you back now. I feel like you could probably chat about your gremlins for another 2 hours, but I'm quite aware we need to move on. You are all talking about thoughts, and I want to move you into facts. I want to share a little something that happens when our resilience goes down, when we're tired, when we're feeling stressed, when we feel we can't cope. That's when we're more likely to listen to these gremlin voices. There's a sort of a change that happens in your brain. I'm going to try and show that to you very, very quickly. So if you imagine my hand is your brain, okay? My wrist is the spinal cord, and the base of my palm is the reptilian brain, the life support system. If I bring my thumb across, this is the limbic system, fight, flight, freeze response. And then if I bring my fingers across here, we've got the cerebral cortex, also known as the thinking cap of the brain because it caps over the limbic system. The fingers at the front are then the prefrontal cortex, and mindfulness is the middle finger at the beginning. And what happens is when we're stressed, tired, can't cope, when we think about things, we automatically go to the limbic system and we stop regulating, and that's where all the negative emotion comes from. That's where we have those panics of, oh my God, I can't do that, that's it, my life's over, everyone will think I'm rubbish, etc., etc. And so we need to learn to be able to challenge that, which is where that question comes in. We need to challenge the truth. We need to get out of thoughts and we need to get back into facts. That clapping exercise that I got you to do is a really simple mindfulness technique that will help you get back from here, back to here. It's something you could do in your car if you're stuck in traffic, obviously with your handbrake on, but it's a really simple thing that you can do to help bring yourself back. The other one you can do is the rainbow one, which is my own technique, which is look for things around the room that are different colours, take your brain out of the thought, bring it back to the fact. So with that in mind, look around the room, look for some colours, and I now want you to have a go at doing the bottom part of your piece of paper. I want you to think about connecting with your inner strength. There is so much energy in the room. There is so much inspiration in this room right now. And so I want you to take that left-hand side, really connect with yourself and think from everything that you have heard today, from everything that you feel right now, what is next for you? What is possible when you let go of the fear and you let go of the doubt? And write down those words now. You might want to look at your pebbles that you've got on the table, the strengths that you wrote down earlier this morning, and channel those at the same time as you do this. And think about those champions. Think about those people in your life that have got your back, that love you unconditionally, that support you, that encourage you, that don't stop you from chasing your dreams and making them reality, but totally help you along the way. Who are those people that you can turn to when you're having one of those gremlin moments? Normally in life, you will probably have 2 to 3 champions at any one time. Who might they be? Who can you reach out to? And then again, I invite you to take a few moments on your table. Let's make this real. Let's think about what it is that you're going to do next. So take a few minutes and have a chat about that on the table. And then I'd like you to fill in your promise note, and then I'll tell you what to do next. Okay. So, it's great to see such energy in the room in the afternoon, it really is. So I invite you all now to make sure you've got your promise written out in front of you. And the idea is that if you'd like to, in a month's time, I will email you with accountability to see how you're getting on. So please make sure your email is legible if you'd like me to do that. And then if you've got phones in front of you, I encourage you to take a picture of this, because obviously you're going to leave it with me today. So if you want to, you're thinking later tonight when you're on your private jet on the way home, because remember, one-dimensional Facebook world, make sure you've got a picture of it so you remember what it is. And then in a minute, you will see instructions on the screen of what you need to do next. So I'll just give you a few minutes to finish those off and to take a picture. So, I want to remind you, we've heard this word a lot today, and it really is such an incredible word to use in language, but life presents us with many choices. Perhaps my picture on the screen is slightly stereotypical, but for my shoes, you probably recognise I'm slightly obsessed with them. So you are so much stronger than you realise. You chose to come here today. You chose to be part of this group today. The right people are here at the right time in the right room. And so this is your promise to yourself for the next month of everything you've listened today and everything that you want to do next. And I was trying to think about, how can I summarise my story from literally being non-existent to being able to stand here in bright pink to you today? Because all day we've talked about the importance of language. We've talked about how important it is to be able to share our stories, to own our own language, to notice the narrative in which we speak to ourselves, to notice the narrative with which we speak to others, and to notice the narrative that will champion us forward. And so I chose to challenge myself to be able to express my story in a different language to you. And so I have learnt a different language to be able to summarise my story, and I'm going to share that with you now. And partway through, you will see some instructions on the screen of what to do next.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send the blood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. This is me.